several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. It all tugs at your heartstrings. It's actually a song, as much of melancholy as of wisdom. That's the reason I love the Gita.
Namaste, Acharya. My name is Utsav. I'm from 2015 MBA batch. In my experience, only a crazy person can understand true love. So are you crazy?
You're asking this question while assuming that what you have experienced and what you have concluded based on your experience is already true.
Yes.
So, isn't it important that first of all we investigate the premise itself?
Yes, of course.
Or do you propose that we proceed on the assumption?
No, sir, if you look at the mind and if you look at mind's perception of its own dissolution and then enjoying its own dissolution, a normal person with an ego mind will call him a crazy person, right? But for him, that is a true love. So in that sense, are you also that crazy in thinking that way?
I could say yes. I could also say no. Okay. But I'm not really sure whether that would be useful. Because you see, these are words that are recycled so much in the spiritual literature. That just because one is habituated to reading them, one starts feeling one knows them. Now, just because one is habituated to something does not mean that one knows that thing. For example, you could be habituated to passing by an electric pole or a slaughterhouse or a hospital or a funeral ground or something every day, right? Because you are very habituated to it, it arouses no curiosity when you encounter it again and again daily. But that does not really mean that we fully understand this object we are perceiving. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate. You asked a beautiful question. I just want to add some value because what you are saying is already at a certain level of thought. And if we are here, we better attempt something higher. So that's where I'm coming from. So, you read Kabir Sahab, you read Rumi, and you read the words of the saints, and you come across such phrases as divine craziness and seeking joy in one's own inner death, and they say it with such conviction and such simplicity and such obviousness that we start feeling that it's something very straightforward, no? Because they are putting it as an obvious fact of life. They are looking at it as directly, as simply and as clearly as one looks at as the teacup on the table, no? But we must also remember that just because they are able to articulate it in such simple terms, it does not mean the matter itself is very simple. This is where we can often be deceived, no? Let's say there is the Rishi from the Upanishads, and he very simply and succinctly says Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Now that is something That's spontaneously arising from his life. He has paid the price. He knows a few things, and from there, it is something very ordinary for him to say Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes.
And if he looks at you, even to you, he will say Tattvamasi.
Yes.
Yes. But that is his prerogative to say. He is the one authorized to say that. He is not stating an objective fact.
Yes.
If I say, here, to my right is a wall, and if the two are standing next to each other, then this statement as an objective fact would apply to you as well, no? If there is a wall to my right, then there has to be a wall to your right as well.
Yes.
What I say then can be repeated by you without any risk of going wrong.
Yes.
But if I say Aham Brahmasmi, and you too say Aham Brahmasmi, then there is a problem.
Because it's a difference, yes.
There is a huge difference because it is not an objective fact we are articulating here.
Yes.
One has to earn the right to use these words.
Yes, because reality is subjective.
Yes, because the ego has to be at its minimal before it can utter absolute truths.
Truths, yes.
Now, if the ego stands where it is and yet it picks up words and starts repeating them and owning them, then there might be a bit of a problem. So the craziness of love, well, we have to be very cautious of it, because love gives you an experience of craziness, even if it is the very common, ordinary, vulgar, egoistic love. Even in that, people experience a certain craziness. Look at a 15-year-old going crazy in love.
Yes.
He's looking at his classmate or somebody, and he is saying this is the purest and truest kind of love possible.
Yes.
And in the age of social media, that's happening all the more. You go to Instagram or somewhere and you will have all 12 years, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. All of them are going crazy in true love.
Yes.
So when that is the situation of the words crazy and love and truth, how do I say that I am crazy in love? If I say that, then I run the risk of being misinterpreted. I also run the risk of being misclassified. No? So what does this word crazy mean for you? What does the dissolution of ego mean to you? I think these are more useful queries. This is what one should go into. No? What is the real lived meaning of dissolution? Otherwise, DISSOULITION
it won't make any difference.
Makes no difference. Makes no difference. We may keep saying EGO all our life and yet have no awareness of EGO. Is it there in your breath? Is the dissolution something that you are living every moment?
Yes.
That's what one has to honestly investigate. And that's what spirituality is really all about.
Yes.
To go into the facts, bare facts of one's life.
Yes.
Bare facts. How is it with me? It does not matter much how it was with the Rishis and the Rumis and the Kabirs. That won't help you because you have your own life to live.
Yes.
A beautiful verse from a seer poet is obviously a thing of delight. But by itself, it cannot change your life.
Yes. But you can always relate to those words.
No. Don't try to relate to them. Don't try to relate to them, because relationship is very, very dimension specific. Please understand. How can a thing on the earth relate to something in the sky?
That is beyond,
That is beyond. But that's the ego's aspiration, to remain where it is, and yet strike a relationship with the highest.
Yes.
And that is a great problem. If you want to relate to the sky, then rise to the sky. That is the only honest way of relating. If you remain where you are, and the ego does not want to change itself, because there is comfort in where it is, and there is security in where it is. Now, remaining where it is, if it wants to have a relationship with something of the beyond, then this may not be very honest. So do not just try to relate. Try to rise. Try to rise. That's more important.
Thank you, sir.